Fairfield County Ohio uses TimeClockPlus version 7 for employee timekeeping. This video will show you how to use the TimeClockPlus version 7 web-enabled clock. Here you see the TimeClockPlus version 7 web clock. It has the current date and time and asks you for your external ID. Type your Fairfield County short username here. Your short username is often your first initial and last initial, followed by a sequence of numbers, like AS5484. Other accounts are simply your first initial and last name, like A. Steeman. For most departments, this is the username that you would use when logging into your computer. If you aren't sure what your short username is, contact your payroll officer. After you've entered your short username into the external ID field, click on the button that corresponds to the action you want to take. Let's pretend that you're at your desk and you want to clock out for lunch. Click Clock Out. A box will pop up asking you for your password. Enter the password that corresponds to your Fairfield County Active Directory account and click Log On. For most departments, this is the password that you would use when logging into your computer. If you aren't sure which password to use, contact your payroll officer. After you've entered your password, a box will appear confirming that you want to complete the requested operation. In this example, the screen reads Confirmation Clock Out because you initiated a clock out operation. If you intended to do what it's asking you to confirm, click Continue. If you click the wrong button, or it asks you to confirm something you weren't expecting, click Cancel. After you've clicked Continue, a box will appear stating that the clock operation was successful. Click OK. Other functions, such as viewing or approving your hours, can be done using the TimeClockPlus dashboard. To use the dashboard, enter your short username, and then click Log On to Dashboard. Then enter your password, and click Log On. You can also initiate clock in and clock out operations from the dashboard if you accidentally went to the dashboard rather than clicking Clock In or Clock Out at the main menu. At the top right corner of the window, TimeClockPlus will display your name, what your last transaction was, when it happened, and what the current date and time is. To view and approve your hours, click on View and then View Hours. All of the segments that you've worked in the current week will be displayed. You can navigate to prior weeks by clicking on the left-pointing Previous button, or to future weeks by clicking on the right-pointing Next button. In order to be paid for the time you've worked, both you and your supervisor must approve each and every segment that you worked. A check mark in the box under the E column indicates your approval as the employee working that segment. To approve a segment or withdraw approval for a segment, simply click on the checkbox. A check mark will be added or removed as appropriate. If you'd like to approve all of the segments for an entire week, simply click on the E column heading. All of the checkboxes will be marked for you. You can similarly withdraw approval for the entire week at once by clicking on the column heading. If you have any reason not to approve a segment, it is vital that you take your concern to your direct supervisor or payroll officer as soon as possible. When you're done using the dashboard, click Log Off. Now let's say it's the end of the day and you're ready to clock out before going home. Enter your short username, click Clock Out, enter your password, and click Log On. We were expecting it to ask us to confirm that we wanted to clock out. Instead, we see a red message that says Missed Clock In. What happened? Our first example was you clocking out for lunch, and the second example was you clocking out to go home. We didn't have you clock back in from lunch. you'll have to manually enter the time you returned from lunch. To confirm that you need to enter a missed clock-in transaction, click the Continue button twice. Set the date and time appropriately to the time that you returned from lunch. Remember to use a 24-hour clock when entering time manually. The system will only let you set whichever time it is that you missed. It already knows what the other value is. Enter a note if your supervisor requires. Once you've entered the time that you returned from lunch, click Continue twice to save and confirm the missed punch. You'll receive a message indicating that the clock operation was successful. Click OK.